Is it possible that Panasonic no longer sucks? Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness, guys, that smokiness of lap song, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a photo video day. We're gonna be talking about Panasonic. The intro there probably pissed a whole bunch of people off, but that's okay. That's what I'm here for. So I actually love Panasonic, and I use Panasonic professionally for many years. And so just to give you that as a baseline, I am a professional photographer, videographer. On the photo side, I use mainly Canon, but if I'm shooting fashion or something that's high-end product work, I'll bring in Hasselblad because I need that medium format. All right, so now we know where things stand. I was reading an article over on F-Stoppers, and it was by a guy named Robert Baggs, and he was talking about the new Panasonic S5 Mark II and the S5 Mark IIx. And what he said is very apropos to what I am talking about here. And I'll give you a little bit of my background to why I say what I'm going to say. But before we get into this, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks as of yet, why the hell not? Go download them. They're free. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. Also, if you're looking for a VPN, look no further. Check out PureVPN. That's the VPN company that I'm currently using because it just simply works. All right. And it is cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean low cost. It's a good value. The folks over there at PureVPN gave me a link, and that link will provide you with about 82% off. So at the cost of about a latte, you'll be able to have security for your home as well as your business. It is really quite good. Also, if you have a current ISP that does not give you a static IP address or allow you to do port forwarding, kind of like Starlink and some other service providers, well, this service will give that to you for like an extra, I don't know, pennies per month, a couple bucks or something. So once again, check out PureVPN. The link is down below as well as in the pinned comment. So what I want to do is I want to read to you this little small article that he wrote, and then I want to give you some of my commentary. And I think that is really good. I'm excited about this, guys. I am actually excited about it. I haven't been excited about stuff in a little while. This is really exciting because this has been just a decade or more in the coming. And I'll tell you about that in just a second. Anyways, he writes this: Panasonic's LUMIX cameras have been a quiet but profound success in photography. Now, the company has announced the sequel to the beloved mirrorless, and it has one improvement that caused quite a stir. This is so important. I have been under NDA for several months, but now I can finally speak about what Panasonic has been up to. In December, I visited Tokyo for the LUMIX Global Summit, where a number of announcements were made, including the flagship reveal of the LUMIX S5 Mark II and the S5 Mark IIx. The LUMIX S5 is a full-frame mirrorless body that has been incredibly well received. Panasonic has found real success in recent years, creating cameras that comfortably rival the more famous mirrorless options such as Sony, Canon, as well as Nikon. I don't believe in that statement too much, but we'll just let them have it, all right? Nevertheless, there was one minor gripe with the S5. Minor? Many hoped its successor would fix. At the event, the announcement of the S5 Mark II was immediately followed with the news that the gripe was over. Phased hybrid autofocus was here. I have been to a selection of camera launches, press conferences, and events, and this is the only time I've heard the audience collectively cheer. They should be cheering. Anyways, let me give you the specs and then I'll give you my commentary on this. So the S5 Mark II is $1,199. The S5 Mark IIx is $2,199. So a couple $100 difference between the two models. They have a full frame 24.2 megapixel sensor, which is 96 megapixels in the high resolution mode, and 5-axis in-body stabilization, which is imperative today, as well as, here it is, 779 points of phase hybrid autofocus. So what that is phase detection as well as contrast detection merged together, just like dual pixel AF, same kind of crap, just like what all the rest of them are doing. They are finally doing it. Once again, it is 779 points of, as they call it, phase hybrid autofocus. Awesome. 9 FPS mechanical shutter as well as 30 FPS on the electronic shutter. Also, it will do 4K as well as C4K at 60p and 6K at 30p. It will also record in ProRes, which is really nice. Also, the S5IIx does have built-in live streaming capabilities. That's awesome. Finally, they both have dual SD UHS 2 card slots as well as having their L Alliance mount. So this is really great. Okay, why is it great? Because, well, they finally got just what everyone has been wanting into the camera, and that is dual pixel AF, or a hybrid version of AF that incorporates or marries together both phase detection and contrast detection. For background, myself and Trevor Current, we used to do Digital Photography Cafe. We would travel the country working the shows. We would get a booth. Some of these booths were like $5,000-$10,000. They would bring us in. We would do a live show and interview all of the CEOs and all of the engineers and all the people, right? So I can't tell you how many times we talked to the executives over at Panasonic. And I remember talking to them about like the GH4, and then finally the GH5 was coming out. And then Sony had that A7 come out, which was a mirrorless full frame. And not only did I ask them about the size of the sensor, but I would also ask them about autofocus and how autofocus used to pulse. It just wouldn't lock on. It was just simply trash. And, obviously, you're poking at the monster and the monster replies back defensively. But I remember they always came back with the same thing. The autofocus is fine. You just don't know how to use it. You need to set the settings just properly and then it wouldn't do this and that and whatever. Wrong. Anyone that has the old GH whatever, it's wrong. They just don't hold focus for crap. Anyways. Then when it came to responding to the size of the sensor, they always responded with simply this. Professional photographers, videographers do not need anything more than a micro four thirds sensor. What? Honest to God, this is absolute facts. I tell you the truth, right? I don't care if it's good, bad, or indifferent. I just tell you how it is. This is what they used to say. This was the mantra. Every single event, every single conference, didn't make a difference. This was like what they all had to say. Didn't matter who I'd spoke to. All right. It was always the same thing. The sensor was good enough and the autofocus is great. You just don't know how to use it. Well, what happened? They came out with a full frame mirrorless camera, right? Why did they do that? The writing was on the damn wall. They squeezed the shit out of the GH line. All right. That micro four thirds sensor is great, but they've done everything they can do with it. They squeezed it. Right. So they ended up making this camera. I remember going back to, I'm not going to say his name, one of the executives, the US executive. And I said, hey, you got a full frame camera now. What happened to the micro four thirds? Kind of chuckled a little bit, didn't respond to it. Right. Well, at that point, every time we would meet, I would always say, well, what's going on with autofocus? It's your fault. You just don't know how to use it. We'll get you in contact with a team and they'll tell you exactly how to do this, that, or whatever, and everything will be great. No. I always used to tell them, listen, when are you going to marry phase detection with contrast detection, put them together like every other company? They kept coming up with like small little iterations to make contrast detect better, but they never fixed the problem. They needed phase detect. Well, now they have it, and they call it this, 779 points of phase hybrid autofocus. Thank God. So for episodic TV and other TV that I've shot on, a lot of the folks would use like Panasonic EVA 1s. The problem with the EVA 1 is, well, autofocus sucks. This is a Panasonic, but everything else is fantastic. So what happened with a lot of these episodic TV program producers, they would buy in Sonys. Why? Because you don't have to worry about pulling focus all the time. You could take an FX6 or an FX9, throw it on a tripod, focus in on the eyes, and it'll just lock in. And during an entire interview, it will never break away. It won't do this stuttering and not knowing if it should stay on the eyes or go to the background and then pulsating. None of that shit, right? Why? Because Sony just gets it. The same thing with a Canon. You take a Canon C-series camera, and it has 300, 500, blah, 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 whatever. You set that up on a tripod, you lock it in, and that's it. Well, it looks like the S5 Mark II and the S5 Mark IIx will be able to do that. Now, I haven't seen any video that shows that it actually works that good, but I'm guessing it will. And I would be eager to see, are they going to come up with like a Panasonic EVA, instead of a 1, maybe a 1 Mark II, or an EVA 2, EVA 3, EVA 5, whatever they want to call it. Because a lot of the producers really love the EVA cameras. The problem, once again, was they need to be manned and people have to sit there and pull focus. And unless you have a really good cam op, it gets ugly. And now you're running about 3 or 4 cameras so that you can switch between cameras as your cam ops are trying to get that focus just right. So anyways, that's my backstory on it. I am really excited about it. I am very excited for all of the Panasonic shooters out there. And if you are a Panasonic guy or gal, you should be excited about this because this is big news. And I'm hoping that this hybrid AF, this phase detection hybrid autofocus system, trickles down into the next iteration of the GH line and also trickles up into the EVA and all the rest of the higher end Panasonic video cameras. So we'll see what ends up happening with it. If you get any firsthand knowledge of this and you test them out, in the comment area below this video, put your thoughts. I want to know what you think about it. And even if you do not have this camera, is this a camera that you're thinking about buying now that it actually will be able to lock in focus? Let me know. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, please throw the video a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And then click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. One last thing. If you want to say thank you, there's a thank you button down here now that YouTube provided us. Thank you, YouTube. We really appreciate that. If you click on that, you can say thank you with a couple of bucks, or even better, don't do that. Just become a member of the channel. That would be even better. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here for another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.